Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have an almost supernatural control over the environment around them? Without saying a word, they don't shout, they don't beg, they simply withdraw, and suddenly, everything changes. The energy shifts. People start to question, they chase after, they feel. Now imagine if you did the same. If you stopped reacting immediately to everything. If you chose silence instead of the automatic response, retreat instead of explosion. What do you think would happen? That's where the point lies. When you stop being always available, emotionally, physically, psychologically, the world around you goes into crisis. Because people are used to controlling you through your reactions, through your impulses, through your predictability. But the day you choose to withdraw, the game changes. Those who thought they knew you realize they know absolutely nothing about you. Machiavelli, in his timeless work, The Prince, warned that the best way to predict the future is to create it. When you stop reacting, you stop being predictable. You become a mystery. And suddenly, the power dynamic shifts. Imagine this. You've always been the one to respond. You've been available, emotionally, physically, mentally, always there for those who needed you, who demanded your attention, your time, your energy. But when you stop reacting, when you take a step back, who becomes uncomfortable? Who gets irritated? The manipulators, the ones who have relied on your predictability, your emotional availability. When you stop giving them what they want, they reveal themselves for what they truly are. People will start to push back. They'll call you cold. They'll accuse you of being selfish. They'll say you've changed. But the truth is, you've finally decided to stop being manipulated. You've learned to control your energy, your time, your presence. You've learned the most powerful thing of all, the art of silence. Machiavelli understood this better than most. He knew that power is not about constantly asserting yourself, making your presence known. It's about making yourself scarce when it matters. It's about choosing when to engage and when to withdraw. And here's the crux of it. When you stop being available to those who don't deserve your time, you stop being the puppet in someone else's game. You stop being used. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." But here's what he didn't say. Commanding isn't just about ordering others around. It's about commanding your own life, taking control of your reactions. And here's a harsh truth. Being overly available, constantly responding to everyone and everything, is a subtle form of self-abandonment. It's a strategy to gain approval, to avoid rejection. But this form of control comes at a high price. It drains your energy. It makes you seem predictable. And once you become predictable, people will use you as their emotional emergency button. They'll press it when they need attention, relief, validation, and then put you back on the shelf when they no longer need you. This isn't what power looks like. This is manipulation. So ask yourself, how long will you continue to react to the emotional manipulations of others? How long will you continue to give pieces of yourself to those who don't deserve even a minute of your silence? It's time to choose yourself. When you understand this truth, you stop giving in to the emotional pull of others. You stop playing the game. Instead, you become the one who shapes the rules. You begin to create your own narrative. When you choose silence, you stop reacting like a puppet. You break free from the patterns that have kept you under someone else's control. But here's where it gets tricky. This change won't be easy. People will test you. They'll challenge your boundaries. They'll accuse you of being distant, cold, or even arrogant. But remember this. Silence is not weakness. It is power. Machiavelli knew this. He understood that power is not just about loudness, but about control. And control doesn't come from always being present. It comes from knowing when to be absent. It comes from withholding your reactions, your energy, your presence, and forcing others to deal with themselves. When you stop being emotionally available, you force others to confront their own inadequacies. And let me tell you this, when people can no longer manipulate you, when they can no longer provoke you into reacting, they become uncomfortable. They'll question themselves. They'll look inward, and some may even attack you. But that's not your problem. That's theirs. The real question is, are you ready to take back control? You are not a puppet. You are not here to serve the emotional needs of others. You are here to create your own destiny. When you stop being available, everything changes. You reclaim your energy, your peace, and your power. Machiavelli understood that true strength comes from knowing when to show up and when to walk away. And that is the secret to never being manipulated again. When you begin to control your energy, you stop being a tool for other people's emotional agendas. No longer will you be the one to jump at every demand. No longer will you be the one sacrificing your peace just to keep others satisfied. Instead, you become the master of your own emotions. You decide when and how to engage and when to withhold. You have the power to shape your life rather than letting it be shaped by others' manipulations. Now, let's talk about the real reason why people are so easily manipulated. It's because they're constantly available. And by being available all the time, they create the illusion of predictability. Once you become predictable, you become expendable. People take you for granted. Your value diminishes because it's always there for the taking. You're no longer seen as rare, as valuable. You're just there. But when you choose to be unavailable, when you take a step back, that's when your value increases. People start to chase after you. They become intrigued. They want to know why you're not reacting, why you're not available. They begin to question what has changed. And in that moment, the power shifts to you. Machiavelli would say that a prince must always control the perception of his power. He must not allow himself to be seen as predictable, and he must never allow others to determine his actions. He must always keep his cards close to his chest. In your life, this means creating boundaries that others can't cross without your permission. It means holding your ground, even if others try to provoke you. The more you assert your boundaries, the more others will respect you. But here's the catch. People will try to push you. They will test your limits. And when they see that you're no longer responding the way they expect, when they see that you're no longer emotionally available, they will get frustrated. They might even attack you. But remember, this is a sign that you're doing it right. The more they push back, the more you can see that you're taking away their tool of manipulation. You're forcing them to face the reality that they no longer control you. And when you stop reacting, when you stop giving them the emotional energy they crave, you break free from their control. Now let me ask you something. How many times have you felt drained after dealing with someone? How many times have you given your time, your energy, your presence, only to feel empty at the end of it? This is because you've been giving away your power. You've been giving away pieces of yourself to people who don't deserve it. But the moment you decide to take control, when you stop giving and start conserving your energy, that's when you reclaim your power. This isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about being strategic. It's about knowing your worth and not allowing others to take advantage of your kindness or availability. In The Prince, Machiavelli teaches us that to maintain power, you must be unpredictable. You must not let others understand your motivations. And when they don't understand you, they can't manipulate you. They can't predict what you'll do next. And this, ultimately, is the secret to never being manipulated again. It's about creating a sense of mystery. It's about becoming someone who is no longer easily controlled. Because when you stop reacting to the demands of others, when you stop being their emotional backup, you stop being predictable, you stop being used. You become the one who chooses how to engage. You become the one who holds the power. And that, my friend, is a game changer. Now, let's talk about the deeper truth here. You see, manipulation thrives on one thing: availability. When you are always there, always present, always responding, you allow others to control the tempo of your life. They dictate when you engage and when you withdraw. You no longer control your time or your energy. They do. But the moment you shift this dynamic, the moment you refuse to be emotionally available on command, something amazing happens. You stop being the puppet and start becoming the puppeteer. You regain control over your own narrative. But here's the thing. You must be willing to lose some things in the process. You might lose people. You might lose relationships that were only ever based on your constant availability. And that's okay. Machiavelli himself recognized that true power comes with sacrifice. If you want to keep people around just for the sake of keeping them, if you want to please everyone and be the go-to person for emotional support, you'll pay the price in your peace. So ask yourself, what are you willing to lose to gain true control? What relationships are you holding onto that are only draining you, demanding your emotional energy, and leaving you exhausted? In this journey, you have to prioritize yourself over others. You have to learn how to say no without guilt. You have to learn to refuse to react when others try to pull you into their emotional games. And when you do this, when you stop being available, the game changes completely. Suddenly, people will start to respect you. They will start to value you. Why? Because scarcity creates value. The less you give, the more people want. Machiavelli wrote about the importance of not showing all your cards at once. He understood that people will use whatever they can to control you if you let them. But by withholding your emotional energy, by not reacting to every provocation, you make yourself unpredictable. And that unpredictability is power. You are no longer at the mercy of anyone else's emotional needs. You are no longer being used to fill someone else's void. And in doing this, you create a space for people who genuinely respect you, who truly value your presence, to enter your life. And let's be clear, this isn't about being manipulative. This isn't about playing games. This is about mastering your own energy and your own boundaries. It's about being intentional with where you place your time and attention. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You stop feeling the need to justify yourself. You stop feeling like you owe anyone an explanation. You stop being at the mercy of the emotional demands of others. And over time, you will find that the more you withdraw your emotional availability, the more you elevate your self-worth. You are no longer giving away pieces of yourself just to please others. You are standing firm in your own value, and that is something to be respected. Machiavelli's teachings, while often seen as harsh or manipulative, are rooted in one key truth. Power is never about control over others. It's about control over yourself. It's about knowing when to engage, when to speak, and when to remain silent. By taking back control over your emotional responses, by choosing silence and withdrawal instead of constant reaction, you stop being manipulated. You stop being a tool for others' needs. This is the true power. This is the secret to never being manipulated again. When you start to adopt this mindset, you'll notice something remarkable happening. People who once took you for granted, those who would manipulate your emotions and your time, will begin to shift their behavior. Why? Because they no longer know how to control you. And here's the kicker. They'll start to respect you more. When you are always available, you're predictable. Predictability makes you easy to control. And the more predictable you are, the more people will treat you like a tool in their emotional toolbox. But when you become unpredictable, when you choose silence over response, when you choose withdrawal over engagement, you become a force of nature. People are forced to confront their own weaknesses when they can no longer feed off your emotional reactions. They have to face the fact that you are no longer someone they can manipulate, and in that discomfort, something shifts in them. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds like a lonely path. If I stop reacting, will people leave me? Will they stop talking to me? Yes, some will. But here's the truth. Those who leave are the ones who didn't value you for who you really are. They were only using you for your emotional availability. And when you stop giving it to them, they'll walk away. But in the void they leave, you will find something much more valuable. True peace. You will have time to focus on yourself, on your growth, on your own well-being. You will regain the space to nurture the relationships that actually matter. Those that are based on mutual respect, not emotional manipulation. The people who remain, the ones who truly care about you, will understand. They will respect your boundaries, and they will begin to recognize the power you found in choosing your own peace over constant availability. In the end, it's not about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming sovereign over your own energy. It's about having the courage to say no when you need to step back when you've been drained, and to stop reacting to emotional games that others try to play. This is the essence of Machiavelli's wisdom. He knew that the key to power was not about dominating others, but about mastering oneself. When you master your own energy, when you control when and how you engage, that's when you truly hold the power. So take a moment right now to think about your own life. Who has been taking your emotional energy without giving anything back? Who in your life has been manipulating you through your reactions, your availability? And ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped reacting? What would happen if you withdrew, just for a while, to regain your own power? You have the ability to break free from this cycle. You have the ability to reclaim your energy, your peace, and your power. It all starts with you. It starts with choosing silence over reaction, withdrawal over engagement, and sovereignty over submission. Now is the time to stop being emotionally manipulated. Now is the time to choose yourself. As you begin to reclaim your emotional energy, you'll notice a shift in how others perceive you. No longer will they view you as an emotional safety net they can turn to whenever they need something. You'll stop being their emotional backup, their fall guy, their go-to for validation. The truth is, people only value what they must work for. They don't value what is always readily available. But when you make yourself scarce, emotionally unavailable when necessary, people will start to realize how much they need you. And suddenly, they will respect you more. This doesn't mean you shut people out completely. It means you create boundaries that allow you to preserve your energy and your peace. You don't have to be available 24/7. You don't have to answer every text, every call, or every request. The power lies in your ability to choose when to engage and when to withdraw. Machiavelli understood that the key to power is not in being everywhere at once, but in choosing the right moment to make your presence known. And the same goes for you. Your energy, your time, and your attention are your most valuable resources. They should not be handed out freely to anyone who asks. By keeping control over these resources, you create an aura of strength and mystery around you. You force others to work harder for your attention, and in turn, they begin to value you more. The more you protect your energy, the more you begin to understand your own worth. And when you stop reacting to every emotional demand, something even more powerful happens. You begin to observe. You become the observer, not the reactor. You begin to see the patterns in your relationships, in the way people treat you, in how you've been manipulated. You start to understand how others use emotional triggers to control you, and you gain the clarity to break free from those cycles. The beauty of this is that the more you withdraw from emotional manipulation, the more you grow. You begin to develop a sense of inner strength, rooted in self-awareness and emotional independence. No longer will you be a puppet to the whims of others. In time, you'll find that the more you stand your ground, the more people will start to respect you, not out of fear, but out of admiration for your ability to remain calm and composed in situations where others would have crumbled. You will become a force to be reckoned with, a person who is not easily manipulated because they have mastered the art of self-control. And here's the kicker. Once you stop being manipulated, once you stop reacting to every demand, the people who once controlled you will start to lose interest, not because you're being cold or distant, but because they can no longer use you. You are no longer an emotional crutch for them. This is when you truly step into your own power. You realize that you are not at the mercy of others' expectations or manipulations. You are no longer reacting to the chaos around you. You are creating your own path, free from the emotional vampires who once drained you. When you begin to master the art of withdrawal, when you stop being available to people who don't deserve your time, you will discover something remarkable. Peace. True peace. You'll stop feeling emotionally exhausted. You'll stop feeling as though you're always giving, without ever getting anything in return. You'll stop feeling like a tool for others' emotional needs. Instead, you'll find that your energy is yours again. You'll feel recharged. You'll feel like you've taken back control of your life. And the more you reclaim your power, the more you will notice how much emotional energy you had been giving away without realizing it. You'll start to see how much time, effort, and thought you were dedicating to people who never truly appreciated it. This is the awakening process. The beauty of Machiavelli's wisdom lies in its simplicity. Power is not in the noise or the drama. It's in the silence. It's in the moments when you choose not to react, when you withhold your energy, when you take a step back and let the world figure things out for itself. Once you master this, you'll realize that you are no longer part of the game. You're no longer being played. You become the one who controls the game, who chooses when to engage and when to pull back. And that, my friend, is where true power lies. People around you may start to change. Some may resent you for no longer being the easy target. Some may try to manipulate you into giving in. But those who truly value you will understand. They will respect the boundaries you've set, and they will appreciate your presence even more because it is now rare and valuable. But here's where the real shift occurs. When you stop being manipulated, you stop being emotionally dependent on others for your sense of self-worth. You stop needing validation from outside sources. You realize that your value does not depend on how available you are or how much you can give to others. Instead, your value comes from within. It comes from knowing who you are and having the strength to protect your energy, your time, and your emotional space. You become emotionally self-sufficient. And that's the most powerful form of independence there is. So take a moment to reflect. How many times have you sacrificed your peace, your happiness, your time, just to make someone else feel better? How many times have you been emotionally manipulated because you couldn't say no, or because you were afraid of disappointing others? Now ask yourself, What would happen if you started choosing yourself first? What if you began to say no to emotional manipulation, to draining relationships, to situations that do nothing but take from you? Imagine the freedom. Imagine the peace. This is your path to never being manipulated again. It starts with setting boundaries. It starts with withdrawing when necessary. It starts with silence. And in that silence, you will find your power. The more you practice this, the more you will realize that your energy is the most precious thing you have. It's not something to be given away to anyone who asks. It's yours to guard, to protect, and to direct as you see fit. You have the power to control your life, your emotions, and your relationships. And that power starts with not reacting to every demand, not being available to everyone who comes knocking. So now, take a deep breath. Reflect on the relationships, the patterns, the habits that have been draining you, and decide who truly deserves your energy, who deserves your time, and who, quite simply, doesn't. The truth is, once you begin to choose where your energy goes, you'll start seeing a profound shift, not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. You will begin to value your own time, your own peace, your own boundaries. And that will make you more magnetic than you ever imagined. People will begin to respect you more, not because you are constantly available, but because you are the one who is in control. You are the one who chooses when and where to give and when to withhold. And that, my friend, is power in its purest form. But here's something important to remember. Not everyone will understand your journey. Some people will resist the changes you make. They will question why you're no longer responding the same way, why you're no longer always there for them. But you have to remember, their discomfort is not your problem. It's a reflection of their own inability to understand boundaries, to understand the concept of emotional sovereignty. The people who truly care about you will adapt. They will learn to respect your silence. They will learn that you are not a tool for their emotional convenience, but a person with your own needs, your own time, and your own peace to protect. So here's the challenge. Starting today, start saying no. Start protecting your time. Start valuing your silence as much as you value your presence. And when people push, when they try to manipulate you into reacting, choose silence, choose space, choose peace. And as you do, you'll find something incredible happening. The people who once used your availability to their advantage will begin to realize that you are not someone they can manipulate so easily. They will begin to change the way they approach you. They will respect you more. They will value you more. But the most important change will happen inside of you. You will stop feeling the need to constantly prove your worth. You will stop seeking approval from others. You will stop measuring your value based on how much you can give to everyone else. And you will start living your life on your own terms. You'll find that your energy becomes more focused, more powerful. You will no longer waste it on people who don't deserve it, on situations that drain you, or on emotional games that are not your responsibility. Machiavelli understood this. He understood that the real key to power is not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. It's about mastering your own reactions, your own availability, your own energy. So from now on, remember, when you stop being available for emotional manipulation, when you stop reacting to every demand, you will become the one in control. And that, my friend, is how you never get manipulated again. As you move forward on this journey, you'll start to see life in a new light. You'll realize that the power you've been seeking was always within you. You've just been giving it away, piece by piece, to those who didn't deserve it. Now, it's time to take it back. You're not cold. You're not selfish. You're not distant. You are simply choosing to protect your energy. You are choosing to live authentically, free from the emotional manipulation that has held you captive for so long. Remember, the key to Machiavelli's teachings isn't in how you control others, but in how you control yourself. The power to shape your life, your emotions, and your relationships lies within your ability to choose when to engage and when to withdraw. And when you master that, you will never again be manipulated. You will stand as the sovereign of your own life, choosing who and what deserves your time, energy, and attention. You are no longer a pawn in someone else's game. You are the one who sets the rules. And that, my friend, is true power.